Mr. Matt, it was awesome having you on this show, man. I enjoyed our conversation and I'm excited that everyone else gets to listen to it. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Cheers.
I quit drinking during the day, or
Wow,
during the
great.
week, I mean. So I would come home and, from work, and I have a day job too. I work in the safety industry. So I would come home from work, crack a beer while I made dinner, and then have another beer with dinner.
Mm.
And taking these supplements, man, I don't even crave beer.
Good.
I
That's
really
awesome.
have to I really have to have a reason to drink now. I drink water, I drink some of our hydration products, I drink
Great.
our energy products. So beer isn't even on the list. It used to be coffee, water, beer all day, every day. That was the exact steps of my day of liquids, right? It was coffee in the morning, beer in the or water in the afternoon, beer at night, and that was my life for ever,
Yeah.
for as long as I can remember. And taking these supplements, we'll have maybe one day a week, or on the weekend, I mean, where we'll go out and have some drinks with friends and all of
Sure.
that stuff, but it's not a daily occurrence anymore. Just like I told you, I got this beer gut, man. I've got to get in line. It's kind of like this hairline, man. I've got to figure out this hairline,
You're
but
funny.
it's part of my insecurities. It's seeing breaking down myself, and needing to feel confident
Mm.
in my own skin, and I mean confident in my own looks, and everything else. And my my hair has always been one of them, dude.
Wow.
As I've gotten to be an adult, my beer belly was getting to be too much. That's why I was like, I need a change, bro.
No, that's good. I'm glad you can make that decision and see it. And that's something that I've always questioned about is like how someone continues to just see that there's a noticeable change, see that there's a noticeable problem, and still just being like, don't like
Just
I
write it off. Yeah,
yeah,
fuck
just write
it.
it off. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think someone explained it to me once, like, yeah, they just neglect what's going on. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that being a thing.
Neglect what's going on, meaning that they recognize the problem but take no action to fix it.
Yes.
Man, oof, that's rough. Can you imagine I mean, being someone like that? I can't. If I see a problem, dude, I'm a natural man. I gotta fix it.
Yeah, 100%.
I have my lazy days, sure, but as far as anything goes for action, I've gotta fix it, dude. And that's why my beer belly, it was getting out of hand. I'd feel bloated all the time, and
Sure.
my belly was hard, and it just
Yep.
wasn't. Dude, you start getting in the shower, and you can't see your toes anymore. You're like, bro, something's gotta change.
That's good. I'm glad you can have that viewpoint.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that help you with your entrepreneurial path?
Leadership,
Cool.
mentorship. I have no idea in what I'm doing. None. I mean, I've never done network marketing.
Mm,
My grandma loves to tell this story that I've never met a stranger, right? We'll be in an elevator, I'll make friends with somebody. So having people in my life that are positive is huge to me. I cut out a lot of people that are just negative and negative energy. I don't care who you are. We can get into it later, but I mean, I've cut off some family members because they're
seriously.
just, oh yeah, bro, draining. Their energy is draining. They're negative all the time. I can't be around people like that, dude. It's not good for me,
Yeah.
and it's not good for my own well-being and my mentals. Having somebody like my friend Ricky, other leaders and mentors that I can go to Like my friends, I call my dad when I need some advice, when I need some fatherly, time. And
Yeah.
if I have problems with my teenager,
Mhm.
I call my dad. I call who's my stepmom, but she's my dad's wife, and I've known her since I was 15. I call her my mom. My biological mom, I cut off. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, bro, for necessary reasons. Something I've never talked about publicly, but this event, the Faith Over Fear event, kind of
Mhm.
coming full circle, really put it on my heart to talk about my childhood abuse. And my
Wow.
upbringing. So we can get into that, but yeah, so back to your question
Hmm.
of who, what helps me in my entrepreneurial, it's got to be leadership, dude. I'm new at this. I've never done it before, so asking people, we have a lady on our team, her name is Candy. Her and her husband, David, are solid people. We have, a whole
Mm-hmm.
community of people that new and experts
Hmm.
and everywhere in between. So there's a community of people that I can call on at any time and be like, "Hey, I've got a question. Hey,
Mm.
what are you doing to see yourself get better, your company get better?"
Cool.
So that's been huge.
I like that.
Being able to build, leaning on people that have more experience than me. I
Yeah.
feel like that's life, right?
And people who are speaking from like an authority sort of viewpoint too, because they have the results in what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. How about you? Do you other than Ray, who do you kind of look for leadership like that?
That kind of leadership,
Yeah,
I'm
business
pick.
leadership.
I'm super picky. Oh yeah, like I'm if for like my I could have a whole conversation on who I choose to listen or not listen to, and I get like very hard on myself about it.
Okay.
And
Because you
part,
don't have an open mind or you feel like you should or what?
no, it's because if I don't see that person as successful enough in what I'm trying to pursue, then it's kind of like listening to your broke friends or listening to seriously,
Yeah,
just
listening
or
to a crackhead tell you
yeah,
how to get off
yeah,
crack. Yeah.
exactly. It's like,
Right.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I get even more specific to it where the point where it's like I I need to see the results. I can't just have them talk
100%.
about it. And so for me, I think like Ray is actually really good in terms of advice with that kind of stuff. Grant Cardone is marvelous. And part of the thing is like, I don't necessarily agree with all of Grant Cardone's theories or how he lives or his viewpoints on everything, but because he's been a salesperson and because he's closed so many deals years
Sure.
after year after year after year, and after looking at his information, I'm like, I'm gonna apply his stuff.
Right. Yep.
So
Makes
it,
sense.
yeah. So it more follows along the lines of having that level of results first,
Hmm.
and then I'll start taking your words for advice, sort of thing. So that's just my viewpoint.
Yeah, he did that undercover
Billionaire.
millionaire. Yeah. He he was able to build in what was it, 30 days or 60 days or something, being able to take a business from start to finish and sell it and for $1 million. Like that's proven results. It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get that part of it.
Hmm.
Now, reality TV, a lot of it I'm sure is staged and whatnot, but I
Of
feel like there was some authenticity to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I watched the like I didn't really watch the show like a whole lot. Maybe I'm trying to think if I did watch the show or not, but I mean like he had to go
I
through
watched
shaving.
snippets of it, yeah.
Oh yeah, he went through shaving his head and like the moments where he's like getting off the plane and only having a blanket and trying to be very conservative about his hundred
Yeah.
dollars and like cashing it at the bank and then going to people and then like and he did that specifically so he could say like, yeah, where do you get your money from? Oh, it's at the bank. It's like all of my $100 is at the bank.
That's, I mean, it doesn't matter if you got $1 or $100 if you got it all at the bank.
All at the bank.
Yeah, and that's that's part of my
Hmm.
growth is reading and learning how to invest my time wisely. One of the things that was said at that event, the Faith Over Fear event, was
Hmm.
spend more time doing monetary creating, producing activities. So things that will make you money, spend more time doing. Spend more time making those connections with people. Life is all about that, about
Hmm.
creating relationships and building those relationships, and not just for business purposes, but because that's who we are as humans, right? Is we thrive on those relationships, and whether it's everything from sexual to business. I mean, you know, friendships are a relationship, business partnerships are a relationship, so partners are a relationship. Everything is a relationship with people. Being able to really build yourself and have that ability to continue those relations and build those relationships is really where people start to see your credibility, believe in you, and want to build with you. And I think that's where a lot of people may need to focus their time on. That's where I need to focus my time on. We don't need to know everything about our products. We don't need to know every minute, ingredient. Be able to send them to the person that does, or send them
Yeah.
to the ingredient list. That's where I come in. Hey, I know a guy, or I don't know the answer, but I can get you the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that builds your credibility, and
Hmm.
that builds that rapport, and being able to follow up, take action.
Hmm.
Well, don't just tell somebody you're gonna follow up. Actually, frickin' do it.
Yeah, for sure. I
If
agree
you
with that.
blow somebody off, that's the last time that they're gonna want to talk to you.
Yep. I think you're right.
I mean, if you we set up our podcast call the day you and I met, right? We were
Yeah.
in the hallway. You're like, "Hey, how does this day sound?" I was like, "Bro, absolutely. Yeah, I'm down." And then what would have happened if I wouldn't have answered your phone call? That would have been the last time you ever called, right?
I don't know. I
You might
that
have
them
followed
specific.
up one time.
Yeah. No, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm really bad about that. Like I'm so bad at it to the point where but no, I think you're right. I think you're right in most cases. Yes.
Yeah. Once somebody kind of loses their credibility with you, bro,
Yeah.
that's it. It's hard to get back.
Yes. Yes.
Like trust. I mean, you have to trust the person that you're wanting to build with, and you want to make sure that they can trust you too. So it's two-way street.
I agree.
And that's really what has built me into the person I am, and helped build my relationships. And I think that's why I am so easily able to cut people off, is because I don't trust what they can say. I don't trust that
Oh,
they can
wow.
they can
Okay.
help me become a better person, or I can help them become a better person, because if I can't trust what you're saying, dude, I have nothing to talk to you about. Trust is huge.
It's true. Wow. I didn't think it like that. Yeah, no, that's a valid point. How did you end up getting like that? Just out of curiosity. What caused that to start become a thing?
My childhood abuse.
Okay.
Um, I had to rely on my sister, and my sister and I are 11 months apart, and we had our bedrooms across from each other.
Okay.
And we lived at home in Vegas. Not the best place to raise your children. Like, I would never raise my kid in Vegas, knowing some of the shit I did.
Yeah.
But my mother worked at, I'm going to call her my mother because that's my biological mom, and saying biological is too long every time. So my mother, my
Yeah.
mom is the one that my dad is married to now, the one that I met and when I was 15 and really helped me become the person I am, the man that I am. My biological mother was a cocktail waitress at one of the casinos. I've never been able to confirm that she had some sort of drug problem. She wasn't a
Mhm.
drinker, but some of her crazy bipolar tendencies, man, there's nothing else really that makes sense. I never saw her use drugs, but growing up and now where I am today, there's no way that it wasn't, unless there was, she was a head case, bro. And I would come home from school and I mean, closed fist punch me in the face. If I said anything wrong, if I
Wow.
if I if I didn't eat my dinner, all the everything on my plate, it was a closed fist punch in the face. From the
Wow.
time I was about, I think she started using a closed fist when I was about 8 years old.
You're saying
Because
closed fist, you mean like
punching,
in
yeah,
the head? Oh,
it
wow.
was open. It was open hand um, until probably I was like 7 or 8. And then I kind of hit a growth spurt.
Okay.
So I must have been tall enough to be able to take a grown woman's punch. So it was brutal, dude. It was
Mm.
um, a lot of abuse daily. And my dad was in town, but I was never allowed to see him until I was about 10 years old. And I was always scared of really telling him what was going on, almost that victim mentality and being scared of the person that was abusing me.
Mhm.
Because for a little while, I just thought it was normal. So eighth grade comes around, and I got in trouble for smoking pot and at school, and got kicked out of school for I think it was like a week.
Okay.
And she takes me to my parole officer, my probation officer, not parole, probation officer.
Mm.
And I mean, in the car ride to that probation officer office, I was the worst person alive. I shouldn't be alive. She should kill me, all this shit,
Oh
just
my gosh.
motherfucking me up and down the road. And I'm, 14-year-old kid. I'm
Wow.
stupid. And when we got home, she came around my bed and I was packing my bags and I told her I was gonna leave. I was gonna go move with my dad, and she came around my bed, and I had a water bed at the time. This is the 90s. We had water beds. So she comes around my water bed, bro, and just sticks me straight in the eye with a closed fist. She had
Oh
she
my
had a
gosh.
ring on her finger and jumped on top of me and started choking me.
Wow.
And my sister came in from her bedroom because it was across the hallway, so she comes running in. I kick my mother off of me, and my sister calls the cops. Cops come, and I've got choke marks and bruises all on my throat,
Okay.
all on my neck. I had, black eye from where she punched me with a ring.
Wow.
The worst part of it, Ian, is this bitch spent one night in jail,
Wow.
and that's it. Our justice system failed. From that day on, I never talked to her again.
Wow.
And my sister continued to live with her, so I would come over when she was at work, and my sister and I would hang out and everything. And we just never conversated until my daughter was born.
With your mom, or what do you mean?
With my mother. Yeah, I
Wow.
never conversated with her after she went to jail for beating me. And because that's a negative situation,
For
it's
sure.
it's negative energy. And so when my daughter was born, I was like, I'll give her another chance to be a good grandma. She's not I love you too. My girlfriend's leaving, sorry. So she goes, shit, I forgot where I was going with that story.
You stop seeing her, police were
Oh
involved, got your
yeah,
daughter
so
abused.
my daughter was born,
Yeah.
and I told her I wanted her to be a good grandma, and so I gave her a second chance. We were at Thanksgiving in Vegas, and uh, she said something about my wife at the time, something super rude, bro. I don't even remember what it was. It
Mm.
was about the way that she did my daughter's hair. My daughter's like a year old at the time,
Okay.
and I blacked out. I blacked out. The rage in my head, I blacked out. And had my older brother not been there, I probably would have beat this bitch to a pulp. I probably would have done some things that I regretted.
Sure.
And she is the only person in this whole world that can put me there
Mm.
at that rage level so quickly. So my brother got in between us, and that was the last time that I ever talked to her because
Wow.
I knew that if I saw her, I would be put in that position again. And if nobody was there, I don't know what would have happened. I
Sure.
would have went to jail for at least assault. And that's not healthy. That is, that's a person that I had to cut off from my daughter, had to cut her off from myself.
Okay.
And long story to answer your question is that trust. That's where I have to trust myself, knowing my limits and
Mm.
and knowing what's going to help me be a better person. Getting through the abuse was easy. The physical is easy. Black eyes go away, man. The marks, I don't have marks on me anymore, but I have deep rooted, marks. Um, the topical ones go away, the deep rooted ones stay. And
Mm.
for me to heal, I have had to talk about it. Um,
Okay.
and I went to therapy, talked to professionals about it, and I got tired of telling the same story over and over again and going and reliving that. They say that it's healthy. For me, it's not. So, I've really kind of tucked it away, tucked it down and deep inside, and
Mm.
this faith over fear event really put it on my heart to talk about it, but not talk about it as an open wound. Talk
Mm.
about how I healed from it
Wow, I like that.
and talk about my growth. And the way that I've grown from it is I've been able to live through it, and I've been able to stop that cycle of abuse. I raised my daughter and never put hands on my daughter,
That's
uh, and never gave her the opportunity to question whether she was loved or not. Something that I always questioned. I never wanted to take her happiness away
mm.
on purpose. Something that was taken from me. I always had to question, why this was happening to me,
Mm.
um, and my happiness was taken from me a lot.
Wow.
And I said that from, you know, one of the reasons that I controls your emotions. And if somebody can control your emotions, they control you. The only one that I like to be in control is me
Mm.
and God. So I don't like other people being able to push me to that negative that negative spot, that negative space, because I feel like then I'm losing. I don't
Wow.
like to lose.
Yeah. Is that one of the biggest lessons you've learned from this all?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
It's powerful. It's powerful.
Is being able to control my own emotions and not let other people control my emotions.
That's great. I respect that.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's a big deal, Ian, being able to come back from abuse, and you can either be a victim or you can be a success.
Mm.
And I never thought about myself as a victim, and I always used it as a way to grow, and it drove me to be a better person. I said I'll never be like my mother
Right.
ever. And that's why I was able to raise my daughter the way that I did. And, you know, I said at a very young age that if any relationship I am in, it will never be violent.
Hmm. That's great.
Um, you know, my girlfriend and I have been together almost 3 years now, and I told her our very first date, because it's something I'm super passionate about. It's like we can play and we can have fun and all of that stuff, but the second that it turns violent, I said, if you ever hit me in a way that's not playful, I'm leaving. The very
Wow.
first time.
It's
The
very
very
direct.
first time. It is. It is. That's how strongly I believe in it, Ian.
Yeah, totally.
Because if you want to hurt me physically, that
Mm.
puts me in a predicament.
Mm. Right.
And I left that predicament when I was 14 years old, and I'll
Okay.
never re-enter that.
Good for you.
And it allows me to, again, be in control of my own emotions. And if somebody hits me, it it flips a switch in me, bro. It does. And I don't like reverting. I'm too cute for jail, bro. I'm too cute for jail.
There you go. It's a good way to look at it.
I don't want to go to jail, and I don't want to spend any days locked up that I don't have to, you know.
Totally. Yeah, it's not worth it. That's awesome, man.
You said in your podcast that the guy asked you a question of if you ever did anything just so you could get locked up.
But
And
yeah.
you said no, absolutely not. I don't want to get locked up, right?
Yeah, I'll take a clean record over being a little bit cold any day.
Absolutely. So where
I
did you come from? Where do you live now?
live in Florida now.
Do you? You don't have to worry about being cold too often.
No, it's much nicer here. That's why I think I like it so much because I going through all the cold weather throughout the years, I'm like, Florida
Sucks,
is
bro.
warm.
Yeah.
That's nice. And some people in Florida complain about the cold weather here, and I'm like, that's cute.
Yeah, it's 50 degrees.
Yeah, it's 50. That's cute. Try negative
Yeah.
40. Like, and it doesn't matter if you're in Canada or it doesn't matter if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit because it's the same.
Yeah. It's the same bone chilling. Yeah, I've got friends in Montana, and I think last year it was like -30 or some shit.
Makes sense.
It something that doesn't even register in my mind, bro.
Yeah. That weather is so cold that it'll freeze your tires to the ground.
So that's a thing.
It's a real thing. I woke up
What?
one day and had to start my car and try and leave, and I was pulling in reverse, and I was like, vroom. It's like,
Not
what is
going
happening?
anywhere.
Like, what's going on? And then I had to turn the steering wheel to the right and turn the wheels to the left, and then I literally broke the ice and was able to leave.
Break the ice.
Hmm.
Man, that is wild. So did you take you didn't take hot water or anything, pour them on your tires?
I could have. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what actually happened is I think what happened is it was warm enough where there was like heat somewhere around the car, like the car had water on it the previous night, and then it froze so much to the point that it
Oh
actually like
yeah.
froze the tires to the ground. It wasn't like cold the entire time.
Right.
Yeah,
Brutal, dude. And what state was that in?
that's in Montana.
Montana.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, makes sense. It's brutal out there. Land of the Yellowstone.
Yep, that's true.
I haven't been able to get out to Yellowstone yet. It looks pretty. Have you been there?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up around there, so I've had the
Okay.
opportunity to be there multiple times.
Pretty rad. It's definitely on my bucket list of places to go. There's probably my grandma told me there's, probably about 10 different spots in Yellowstone that are worth going to.
Hmm.
And she said there's about, I don't know, some campgrounds and some things to see out there. It's just I've seen some of the pictures from her, and she was an avid traveler. Her and my grande papa, they were avid travelers, and it kind of gave me the traveling bug.
Nice.
Um, and she showed me pictures and just looked so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
I can't